Okay. So, good afternoon, students. Welcome to the Real Analysis live lectures. In today's session, we are going to see what is uniform continuity. Okay. Already we have discussed what is mean by a continuous function. Am I right? So now we are going to see or going to discuss what is mean by uniform continuity. So, can you recall the definition of a function is said to be continuous at a point? Can anybody recall? What is the definition? A function is said to be continuous at point x0 if for every epsilon greater than 0 there exists delta greater than 0 such that mod of f of x minus f of x0 is less than epsilon whenever mod of x minus x0 is less than delta. Can you see this, whatever I have written? Yes. Yes. So now this delta depends on what? This delta depends on epsilon as well as x0, that point, right? This delta depends on epsilon as well as x0. Means if we change x0, my delta will change. If I change my epsilon, this delta will change, right? So this delta depends on epsilon and that point. But now for every point of that space, if same delta is working, we can found same delta for every x of that space or of that set, then we can say that this f is uniformly continuous on that set. Are you getting this? Let me write over here. Like, so we can say interval or a space, let f from m to r, real valued function I am saying. So let x0 belongs to m. Now when we say that f is continuous on whole space m, if it is continuous at every point of m, so we first check point-wise continuity. So how we check for point-wise continuity for one point? So if we can find for we will start with epsilon greater than 0, given epsilon greater than 0, and we find delta which is also greater than 0 such that it satisfies that condition. What is that condition? F of x minus f of x0 is less than epsilon whenever mod of x minus x0 is less than delta. Now if I take another point, say x1 belongs to m. For this, suppose for this I will call as delta 1. Now for this delta 1, for this x1, let there exist delta 2 greater than 0 such that mod of f of x minus f of x1 less than epsilon whenever mod of x minus x1 is less than delta 2. Are you getting this? So this definition is for point-wise continuity. Whatever definition we are saying, it is point-wise continuous. So for every x we are getting, if we get separate delta also no problem. But if we get the same delta for each x of that set, means my delta here, this for point-wise continuity, this delta depends on epsilon as well as x, whatever x is there. Okay. Then we say that it is point-wise continuous. Okay. And what is mean by uniformly continuous? So what is uniformly continuous? You can see here rough definition. It is possible to guarantee that fx and fy be close to each other as we please by requiring only that x and y are sufficiently close to each other. Means whenever points are close to each other, distance between fx and fy is also close to each other. Then we say that that function is uniformly continuous. On the other hand, in ordinary continuity, where the maximum distance between fx and fy may depend on x and y themselves. Are you getting this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we will come to this definition. Let me. A map F from metric space MD to n row is said to be uniformly continuous if for given epsilon greater than 0, there exists delta greater than 0 such that whenever there are 2 points in M with distance of xy is less than distance of xy is less than delta, it implies distance between their images is less than epsilon. So d of xy is less than delta implies rho of fx comma fy is less than epsilon. Why we are saying rho? Because on metric space n, codomain distance is defined by rho metric. Okay, so we have taken here rho. So MD and n rho are two metric spaces. F is said to be uniformly continuous if for given epsilon greater than 0, there exists delta greater than 0, which is independent of x and y. Okay, it depends on epsilon only, not on the point. So, and which satisfies the condition, same condition. Okay, now every uniformly continuous function is continuous. This is obvious by definition. Every uniformly continuous function is continuous. Suppose f is uniformly continuous, so for every epsilon greater than 0, there exists delta, means f is continuous at x belongs to M, means f is continuous on M. Just followed by definition of uniform continuity. Now the converse of the above theorem is false. Means what? Every continuous function need not be uniformly continuous. For example, 1 by x. We will see this. For example, the function f of x is equal to 1 by x is continuous, right? But on this interval 0 to infinity, okay, 0 excluded, open interval 0 to infinity, this function is continuous, but it is not uniformly continuous, because if it you can see here, whenever we take modulus of x minus y tends to 0, modulus of x minus y is less than delta. But what is modulus of fx minus fy? For this, it is f of 1 by n minus f of 1 upon n plus 1. If we take 2 points near n and n plus 1, then what will be this? F of 1 by n minus f of 1 upon n plus 1. And this, what is f of 1 by n? It is n, right? And what is f of 1 upon n plus 1? It is n minus 1. So we are getting it is 1. Are you getting this? So for epsilon is equal to half, that condition fails. Means f mod of fx minus fy is strictly greater than epsilon. We are not getting it is less than epsilon. So if this should hold for every epsilon. If I choose my epsilon is equal to 2, it holds. Means mod of fx minus fy is less than epsilon, it is correct. But for every epsilon, it should hold. So if I choose my epsilon is equal to half, I cannot find that delta, which works for all. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, next example is every Lipschitz function is uniformly continuous. What is mean by Lipschitz continuous? What is mean by Lipschitz continuous? What is mean by f is Lipschitz continuous? F is said to be Lipschitz if there exists k such that rho of fx comma fy is less than equal to k times d of xy, right? So we start, if I want to show it is uniformly continuous, start with epsilon greater than 0. Now since f is Lipschitz, there exists k such that rho of fx comma fy is less than or equal to k times d of xy. Now take delta is equal to epsilon by k. Then what can I say about d of x, rho of fx comma fy? If I choose, my delta is equal to epsilon by k. So for any xy in M with distance of xy less than delta, what can I say about distance between fx and fy? It will be less than or equal to k times distance of xy. But it will be less than, what is distance of xy? It is less than delta. So k times delta. But what is my delta? Delta is epsilon by k. K times delta. And delta is my epsilon by k. So I am getting here less than epsilon. So rho of fx comma fy is less than epsilon whenever d of xy is less than delta. Are you getting this? So every Lipschitz function is uniformly continuous. Next remark is uniformly continuous function need not be Lipschitz. Okay. So up to now what we have seen here, first we have seen uniformly continuous implies just continuity, point-wise continuity, but this does not hold. For example, 1 by x you can say, for example 1 by x on interval 0 to infinity. This is the example, okay. First one. What is second now? Just now we have seen Lipschitz continuity implies uniform continuity, but converse is not true. Means uniformly continuous function, let me write properly. Can you see this? Whatever I am writing, Lipschitz continuous implies uniform continuous. Yeah, but yes, but it does not imply, or let me go off. This does not imply, converse is not true. Means every uniformly continuous function need not be Lipschitz. For example, you take f of x is equal to this, under root of x. Take domain as 0 to infinity, close 0, open infinity. Real valued functions defined by fx is equal to under root of x. Then we can easily prove that f is uniformly continuous, but it is not Lipschitz. So how we can prove it is not Lipschitz? Suppose on the contrary assume f is Lipschitz. So if f is Lipschitz, what will happen? There exists constant such that k belongs to R such that modulus of fx minus fy is less than equal to k times modulus of x minus y for every xy belongs to domain. What is my domain? 0 to infinity. Now what this, if we simplify, we will get modulus of under root of x minus under root of y is less than equal to k times modulus of x minus y for all xy belongs to 0 to infinity. So in particular, if I take for y is equal to 0, what will happen? For every xy it should hold. So for y is equal to 0, if I substitute, what is under root of 0? It is 0. So this x will become modulus of under root of x is less than equal to k times modulus of x for all x belongs to 0 to infinity. So what it will give? 1 by under root of x, or you can say under root of x by x, or 1 of under root of x is less than equal to k for all x. So as x tends to 0, this where it will tends to 1 upon under root of, this is nothing but what? 1 upon under root of x. Under root of x by x is nothing but what? Under root of x, under root of x brackets square is nothing but my x. So 1 upon under root of x. So this tends to infinity as x tends to 0. Right? So this implies k tends to infinity, and which is contradiction. Okay? Because my function is Lipschitz. So if we assume it is not Lipschitz, we will arrive at a contradiction. Suppose f is Lipschitz, and we arrive at a contradiction. Is that okay?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
In the question that is the continuity doesn't imply uniform continuity. If we change the interval, so
which interval you want?
Since 1 by x on 0 to infinity it has given, no?
Open interval 0. So it depends on, continuity depends on interval. Okay. So if we change interval, if we change the example, it will change. But I want here example which is continuous but not uniformly continuous on that interval. That's why I have taken this.
Okay.
I want to give one counter example for this. Because there are functions which are continuous as well as uniformly continuous. But I want a function which is continuous but not uniformly continuous. That's why I have chosen this.
So if we want to prove that a continuous function is also uniformly continuous and we want to choose one by example.
No, if we want to prove a continuous function is uniformly continuous, means we have to prove by definition. Means we have to prove it actually. But since we know at least one example is there which is not following, means we cannot prove, no? Counter example. When we give counter example?
Yes, to prove it false.
Yeah, means to see, to prove something is very difficult. मीन्स समथिंग इज ट्रू, काय म्हणतात त्याला, सत्य प्रूव्ह करणं हे खूप डिफिकल्ट आहे. पण एखादं खोटं बोलतंय म्हणजे समथिंग इज नॉट ट्रू इज व्हेरी इझी टू प्रूव्ह बाय जस्ट गिव्हिंग वन एक्झाम्पल. इफ यू गिव्ह वन एक्झाम्पल ऑल्सो इट इज इनफ. Like what example we can give? Are you getting what I want to say?
Yes, ma'am. Got it, ma'am.
Yes. Now the next one is, next theorem is, if M is a compact metric space, then every continuous map is uniformly continuous. You can see here, if domain is compact, then continuity implies uniform continuity. Earlier, our domain, what was our domain for which we have given counter example? It is, we have taken 1 by x on open 0 infinity, and we know that this is not compact. This is not compact. But if we take a compact space, means if my domain of the function is compact, and if I can write here f from m to n, let m from md to n row, and if this m is compact and moreover this function is continuous, then this f is uniformly continuous. This implies f is uniformly continuous. we will prove this. Means now we have to prove this. Okay. So how to prove? Let epsilon greater than 0. Now since f is given to be continuous at each x in M, for every x there exists delta x greater than 0 such that rho of fx comma fy is less than epsilon by 2 whenever distance between xy is less than delta x. This delta depending on x, right? Since it is pointwise continuous, this delta depending on x, I want to use delta depending on x. That's why I have used instead of delta suffix x. Are you getting this?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now, if we can show this delta is independent of x, then we can say that f is uniformly continuous. Okay. So first we suppose we started with epsilon greater than 0, and by continuity at each x there exists delta x which satisfies this condition. Now what can I say this about this ball? Consider a ball B delta x by 2 whose center is x. This will be an open cover for M. Are you getting this? This is your M. Suppose this is your M. For each x you are having one delta x. Now I am taking a ball around that x. So for each x you have one ball, right? For every x you are having one ball which will form an open cover for M. Is that okay? Are you getting this? Am I right? Are you getting this? This forms an open cover for M. Now since M is compact, what we know, if M is compact, for every open cover there is a finite subcover.
Yes, ma'am.
So means there exist finitely many points or finitely many balls. With the help of that I can cover that M, whole space M, right? So there exist x1, x2. I can let me erase this. Yes. Now since my M is compact, there exist finitely many points x1, x2, xn in M, so that M is contained in union of B Ri of xi, where what is my Ri? It is delta xi by 2. Okay. Now you take delta is equal to minimum of this R1, R2, Rn. Then what can I say? It will work for all xy. So let xy belongs to M such that distance between xy is less than delta. Now since x is in M, there exists j, we can write, yeah, there exists j such that x belongs to Brj of xj. Are you getting? There,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, for x in M there exists one ball, say Brj of xj. Also, now if I write this distance of yxj by triangle inequality, it can be less than or equal to distance of yx plus distance of xxj. But what is distance between xy? We have started with rj. But distance between x and xj is also rj. Means this is strictly less than 2 times of rj. But 2 times of rj is nothing but my delta xj. Are you getting this? So this implies y belongs to this ball of radius delta xj and center xj. So this implies rho of fy comma fxj is less than epsilon by 2. Now since my x belongs to this ball of radius rj, this implies distance between xxj is also less than rj, but rj is nothing but again which is less than delta xj. So now you calculate what is rho of fx comma fy. I want to show somehow it is less than epsilon. Now rho of fx comma fy I can write as rho of fx comma fxj plus fxy, rho of fy comma fxj. Are you getting this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So it is less than epsilon by 2 plus epsilon by 2 and nothing but less than epsilon. So we get a delta which is independent of x and y, that points. Therefore my f is uniformly continuous. Is that okay? So if my domain space is compact and my function is continuous on a compact space, then we can say that that function must be uniformly continuous. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So now you take any continuous function f from, yeah, we can say a remark, any continuous function f from closed interval ab to r is uniformly continuous. Because what is the reason? Because we know that this is closed interval, closed and bounded. Closed and bounded is compact. This is compact. Therefore by above theorem, any continuous function on a compact space must be uniformly continuous. Okay. So for example, you can take f of x is equal to x raised to n, which is uniformly continuous on closed interval 1, 2, or closed interval AB also you can take. Now the next theorem, if f from m to n is uniformly continuous, then f maps Cauchy sequence in M to Cauchy sequence in N. See here, what is given? F from MD to N row, we can say. N row metric spaces, and what it is given to be continuous function. Uniformly continuous, right? F is given to be uniformly continuous. Now, if it is uniformly continuous, we want to show if xn is a Cauchy sequence in, if it is a Cauchy sequence in M, then it f maps Cauchy sequence, means f of xn is also Cauchy sequence in N. That we want to prove. Okay. That is, if xn is a Cauchy sequence in M, then f of xn is a Cauchy sequence in N. Means if function is uniformly continuous, it maps Cauchy sequence to Cauchy sequence. So how we start here? So start with a Cauchy sequence in M. Let xn be a Cauchy sequence in M and epsilon greater than 0. Now since f is uniformly continuous, for this epsilon greater than 0, what will happen? There exists delta which is not dependent on point, only depending on epsilon, such that rho of fx comma fy is less than epsilon whenever d of xy is less than delta. This is by definition of uniform continuity. Now since xn is Cauchy, what is meant by xn is a Cauchy sequence? For every epsilon greater than 0, there exists natural number such that distance of xn xm is less than delta for all n m greater than equal to k. So instead of epsilon now, this delta is also greater than 0. So for this delta greater than 0, since my xn is Cauchy, there exists integer k greater than 0 such that distance of xn xm is less than delta for all n greater than equal to k. Now since f is uniformly continuous, what can I say? Rho of xn, rho of f of xn comma rho of f of xm is less than epsilon for all n m greater than equal to k, and this implies f of xn is a Cauchy sequence in n. Is that okay? now if I want to show a function is not uniformly continuous, it is, this example will be easy. Like if we are having some Cauchy sequence in M, but which does not map to Cauchy sequence, then we can easily say that it is not uniformly continuous. For example, this 1 by x only. Okay. So if f is not uniformly continuous, then the above result is not true. Means it does not map to Cauchy sequence. For example, this f from 0 infinity to r, f of x is equal to 1 by x. What is Cauchy sequence? 1 by n is a Cauchy sequence in 0 to infinity, right?
Yes.
But what is its image? What is its image under f? F from 0 to infinity to r, defined by f of x is equal to 1 by x. Now, what is f of 1 by n? 1 upon 1 by n, means it is n. So 1 by n is a Cauchy sequence. 1 by n is Cauchy sequence in 0 to infinity. But what about this sequence f of 1 by n? It is nothing but n. It is not a Cauchy sequence. N is not Cauchy sequence in R, right? N is not a Cauchy sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on. It is not a Cauchy sequence. Not Cauchy in R. But f of 1 by n is not a Cauchy sequence in R. Now again, important theorem we can say. If f from m to n is uniformly continuous, then f maps totally bounded sets to totally bounded sets. So how again we can start? Let A is a subset of M be totally bounded. So what is mean by a set is totally bounded? What is mean by a set is totally bounded?
It has bounds.
It has
Bounds.
no bounds, not like that. A is totally bounded means there exist x1, x2 finitely many elements from that set such that we can cover A, or A is contained in union of open balls around x size, that x size. Totally bounded. I am saying totally bounded, this one. Okay, first we will start. Okay, let A is a total subset of M and which is totally bounded, and start with epsilon greater than 0. Now again, by definition, since f is uniformly continuous, there exists delta greater than 0 which satisfies this condition. And this condition is nothing but can be stated in terms of balls, right? F of b delta x is contained in b epsilon of f of x. Here it should be rho, okay? This should be rho, okay? This is not epsilon, this is rho. This f from md to n rho. Okay, this is md to n rho. So if it is uniformly continuous, then we want to show what is our claim. F maps totally bounded sets to totally bounded set. Means if A is totally bounded, then f of A is also totally bounded. A is totally bounded implies f of A is also totally bounded. Okay, so we have started with a totally bounded set. Okay, now since it is uniformly continuous, we are having this one for every x in M. Now since A is totally bounded, by definition of totally bounded, there exist x1, x2, xn finitely many elements from M such that A is contained in union of open balls of radius delta. Is that right? Since it is totally bounded. Now what can I say about f of A? It will be contained in f of union of B delta of xi's. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
A is contained in union of open balls, then f of A will be contained in f of union of that balls, but this means it is contained in union of f of B delta of xi. This means what? Because f of B delta of xi is contained in B epsilon of f of xi, means f of A is contained in union of B epsilon of f of xi. So this implies f of A is also totally bounded. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So which theorems we have seen? Like if f is uniformly continuous, this is very strong result, uniformly continuous. One, f maps Cauchy sequence to Cauchy sequence. And what is second? F maps totally bounded sets to totally bounded sets, right? Okay. So if f is uniformly continuous, these two theorems holds. As well as if f is continuous on a compact set, then it must be uniformly continuous. This we have proved. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this much is enough for today. If any doubts, you can ask.